Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Haikal Zaki bin Ruslan. I will talk about Chapter 5, Professional Ethic, Human Resource, which is include Commercial Law and Industrial Relation Law of Malaysia, with special reference to the Law of Contract, Legal Requirement, and Employment and Training of Engineer. So, the first one is I will talk about Commercial Law and Industrial Relation Law of Malaysia with special reference to the Law of Contract. A letter of confirmation is not always an agreement or contract, but it can be used to confirm details from a previous agreement or contract. This confirmation letter is very important to protect the faith of the employee or employer if something happen. Not just engineering related work, all things involving individual with other individuals require a contract. The contract is a written document that describes a complete knowledge of the business relationship and scope of work, ensuring that no one can later claim misunderstanding. They determine what right you have and what right you have purchased. They are legally binding and enforceable. So, what is agreement? All agreement are contract if they are made with the free assent of parties competent to contract, for a legal consideration and for a legal purpose, and are not expressly declared void. Nothing in this section affect any legislation that requires a contracting to be made in writing or in the presence of witness, or any legislation or relating to document registration. So, who are competent to contract? Every person who is of legal age according to legislation to which he is subject, is of sound mind, and is not barred from contracting by any legislation to which he is subject, is competent to contract. Next is what is sound of mind for the purpose of contracting. For the purpose of making contract, a person is said to be one of sound mind. At the same time of making it, he is capable of understanding it and making a reasoned decision about its impact of his interest. So, a person who is usually of unsound mind but occasionally of sound mind may make a contract when he is of sound mind. When a person is typically sound mind but occasionally of unsound mind, he may not enter into a contract. For example, person A, patient in a mental hospital who is at interval of sound mind, may contract during those interval. The second example is person A, sandman who is delirious from fever, or who is so drunk that he cannot understand the term of a contract, or form a rational judgment as to its effect on his interest, cannot contract release such delirium or drunkenness letters. So, let's talk about consent and free consent. Consent is two or more persons are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Consent is said to be free when it is not caused by 5 things. The firstly is coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. So, I will talk about coercion. Coercion is defined as the act of committing or threatening to perform any act prohibited by the penal code, or unlawfully detaining or threatening to retain any property to detriment of any person, with the goal of forcing that person to sign into an agreement. For example, person A on board an English ship on the high seas cause person B to enter into agreement by an act amounting to criminal intimidation under the penal code. Person A afterward sues person B for breach of contract at Taiping. Person A has employed coercion, although his act is not an offence by the law of England, and although Section 50C of the Penal Code was not enforced at the same time when or place where the act was done. So the second one is undue influence. A contract is said to be by undue influence where the parties' relationship are such that one party has a position of dominance over the other will and exploit that position to gain an unfair advantage over the other. For example, a person A, a diseased or elderly man, is pursued by person B, influenced as his medical attendant, to agree to pay person B an exorbitant charge for his professional service. Person B exerts his proportionate power over there. The second example is person A applies to a banker for a loan at the time when there is stringency in the money market. The banker declined to make the loan except at an unusually high rate of interest. Person A accept the loan of this term. This is a transaction in the ordinary course of business, and the contract is not induced by the undue influence. The third one is fraud. Fraud is any of the following act undertaken by a contracting party or with his knowledge or consent or by his agent with the intent to deceive another contracting party or his agent or to convince him to enter into the contract. There are 5 things, which is the first one, the suggestion as to a fact of that what which is not true by one who does not believe it to be true. The second one is the active concealment of a fact by one having knowledge or belief of the fact. The third one is a promise made without any intention of performing it. Next is any other act fit to deceive, and any such act or omission as the law specially declares to be fraudulent. So next I will talk about misrepresentation. So misrepresentation is the affirmative assertion of something that is not true despite the fact that the person saying it believe it to be true in a way not warranted by the information of the person saying it. Any breach of duty that benefits the person committing it or anybody claiming under him without intending to deceive, by deceiving another to his prejudice or detriment of anybody claiming under him, unknowingly causing a party to a contract to make a mistake about the substance of the thing that is the subject of the contract. So last but not least is mistake. Mistake is the agreement void where both parties are under mistake as to matter of fact, where both the parties to an agreement are under a mistake as to a matter of fact essential to the agreement. The agreement is void. So for example, person A promised to sell person B a specific cargo of goods that is expected to arrive in Kelang from England. It turned out that the ship transporting the cargo had been abandoned and the commodities had been lost before the day of the transaction. The facts were unknown to neither party. The contract is null and invalid.
There are 3 types of contract according to the Malaysian Contract Act 1950. The first contract is a valid contract. According to Section 2, subsection H, a valid contract is an agreement enforceable by law. A contract which is not a valid contract is called a void contract. It is defined under Section 2, subsection G of the same Act to be an agreement not enforceable by law. The third type of contract is a voidable contract defined under Section 2, subsection 1 of the same Act to be an agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties, but not at the options of the other or others. Let's explore more on law of contract under the Malaysian Contracts Act 1950.
So the thing I'm going to discuss here involve as well as focusing on the employer side, which is one to the hire worker, and after this I'll discuss about how to as well as fresh graduate tip to get a job, and now I will talk about legal requirement relating to recruitment. So what is the recruitment process in human resource? So the procedure involved in attracting and hiring a new employee to fill a position in an organization are known as the recruitment process. Manager and human resource management, recruiter, or a mixture of all three are normally in charge of this task. This process is often led by a human resource manager who collaborate with appropriate department and team member to streamline recruitment. The recruitment process include locating the best candidate for the job in terms of abilities, experience, and personality. It entails gathering and assessing resume, holding job interviews, and finally onboarding a new employee to begin working for the company. So next is what make a good recruitment process. A good recruitment process allows you to find qualified candidate quickly and efficiently. The process requires intentional planning and constant evaluation. The hiring process should be streamlined so that each employee get the tools and resources they need to do their tasks. If a manager is in charge of conducting interviews, for example, the recruiter or human resource manager should make the process easier by providing the manager with a printed resume and background information on the employee before the interview begins. A candidate should be also informed of the whole interview schedule by the recruiter or human resource manager, so that they are not left in the dark regarding the next step in the process. So I will talk about other important goals in building an efficient recruitment process, which is has three. The first one is automate as much as possible. To get most out of your automation, use an application tracking system. You will be able to automate where you publish job advertisement. Keep track of how many people apply and filter resume to identify the best candidate. You will be able to spend more time building relationship with potential hires now that you have saved so much time. Make decision based on data. Invest in a true data analytic system to determine how many people apply for a job, how many we interview, and where the best prospect came from, among other things. Reflecting on the hiring process with each new hire will assist to improve it over time. Lastly, create a referral program for your employee. Make an employee referral program to get your staff involved in the hiring process. They will be more enthusiastic about spreading the news about the opening, and they will more likely refer you to more qualified prospect. Employers who tap into their employees' network have access to a tenfold greater talent pool from which to recruit. Next, I will discuss about advantage of a good recruitment and selection process. So, time spent developing and implementing a successful recruitment strategy can result in the following advantage. The first one is reducing hiring costs. Being proactive in employing new staff boosts your company profitability and performance. You may aid your department by giving the resource and labor they need to complete their tasks, as well as saving money by lowering your organization cost per hire. Second one is new hire of better standard. You will have a better chance of keeping high quality candidate. Interest if you more quickly, they will be more unsatisfied and inclined to look at other companies if the procedure take longer. 92% of organizations make offer within a week of the interview process, according to a pool of more than 3,000 job seekers and 100 employers. Last but not least is increase employee productivity. A successful recruitment process allow human resource professionals to devote more time to training new and existing employees. You can create employer engagement and performance that will improve efficiency, result by concentrating on learning and development. Next, I will talk about 9 steps to the recruitment process. The first one is determine your requirement. Before you post a job, make a list of requirements when you are replacing an employee who has recently gone. Identifying the hiring need may appear simple, but it becomes more challenging when you are creating a new position or changing the responsibility of an existing one. The second one is establish a job description. A strong job description is an important component of a successful recruitment strategy. Once you have a good understanding of your company and department demands, you should set down the role, duties, and responsibilities. Job description help a potential applicant understand the organization need and expectation. To attract and meet applicant who can adequately satisfy the need of their work, it's critical to be as clear as possible in the job description. The third one is make a recruitment strategy. Create a recruitment strategy plan to save time and energy. Plan the best strategies to spread the word about the job. Determine who will be responsible for analyzing resume, setting up interview, and selecting the best candidate. Next is begin your search. During the recruitment process, use keyword recruitment tools to cut down on your search time. Keyword tools can be sieve out unqualified application, which can be the most time-consuming component of recruiting. Next is identify and hire top-tier candidate. You will need to keep in touch with the best prospect on a regular basis if you don't want them to go on other chance. If you are at the office or on the road, use a mobile hiring app to safely review top applicant on your smartphone. Next is perform a phone interview. Once you have decided on a few candidates, conduct a phone interview to narrow down the field and ensure that you want to spread the time interviewing them in person. But before you begin, make a list of the greatest interview questions to ask. Next is in-person interview. Following a phone screening, interviews should be scheduled as soon as possible, ideally within a week. If the procedure drags on too long, candidate will lose interest Inform the interview where you are in the process and how long it will take you to make a decision. Then even if you determine they are not a good fit, make sure you follow up. Make sure you set aside enough time to concentrate and give each candidate your full attention. Next is making a job offer. Just because you offer a job to someone doesn't not mean they will take it. At this stage of the process, take great care to create a desirable offer that the prospect will not want to turn down. Over 90% of people say that being contracted by a manager make them more likely to accept a job offer. So don't be scared to call out. Expect the process to take some time and be prepared to haggle about pay and benefit. Last but not least, training of a new employee. The hard work begins now that you have decided which prospect will join your team. Implement a new hire onboarding procedure to ensure that the applicant has a great experience and can quickly get to work on the position for which they were hired. The onboarding process should focus on process and tools that will help new recruit move smoothly into the firm rather than just new hire paperwork and assigning a mentor or a buddy. Scheduling on one-on-one time with management, for example, can boost new hire performance. So next, I will talk about how fresh graduate can get a job without experience. New grads frequently face the age-old problem of how to find a job without prior work experience or how to get relevant experience without having a job in the first place. The good news is that technology and sustainability are driving today's economy growth. You are well prepared for the workplace of the future. If you have no past work experience, you should concentrate on what you can bring to the table and how you may benefit your potential employer. There are 7 ways I will talk about how fresh graduate can get a job without experience. So the first one is consider what your potential employer is looking for. It's natural to feel as if you don't have enough credential or experience to talk about in your CV or during a job interview as a recent graduate. There are, however, some steps you may take to improve your chance of finding a new and exciting work. In your resume, highlight your academic achievement. Potential employer can get a sense of your personality, competency, and soft skills by looking at your academic assignment, project, and hobbies. They can tell if you are a good fit for the position, team, and culture based on your extracurricular activities, internship experience, and academic result. Make a summary of your resume and keep it brief. Most hiring manager and recruiter only give each CV 6 seconds of their time, leaving you with very little time to capture their interest. Present an overview of less than 3 sentences that emphasize your most relevant accomplishment of experience and talent so you can pick their attention straight away and persuade them to continue reading. In your resume, use skill as keyword. Human resource technology solutions are being used by employer and recruiting agency to find keyword in resume that reveal a candidate abilities and job fit. Use keywords that are specific to the industry and professional that you want to pursue in your internet research. Wherever applicable, provide example and be precise about how you have used a talent to solve an issue and achieve your goal. Last but not least, discuss how your work affect the workplace and describing how you contribute to a project or assignment that may be implemented in the job instead of merely showcasing your academic achievement. You can also talk about how you plan to put what you have learned to work for your possible company. So the second one is mention achievements that are relevant to your potential job. It's simple to include all your previous accomplishments and activities in your CV. However, not every one of them will be useful to your future company or profession. Focusing on demonstrating example where you have displayed qualities that are valuable to your future employer, such as problem solving talent, attention to detail, or a strong business sense. The third one is be truthful to yourself. Ask yourself what is absolutely necessary to you in life before you start job seeking, writing your resume, or sending out an application letter. Examine your personal value as you examine your employment alternative. It's critical to first figure out what matters to you. Is it important to work close to your family? Then you might wish to stay away from possibility outside of Malaysia or your state. Are you charmed with your own creativity? Then a customer service job might not be the ideal choice for you. Your values are an important part of who you are, and focusing on occupation that line with them. Occupation that you can be passionate about can help you make a better career and future decision. So next is improve your soft ability. Soft skills are valued highly by many potential employers who value them more than technical skills or even experience. Communication, teamwork, and pleasant attitude are examples of soft skills that show how well you will fit into a company culture. You can go ahead of new graduates who don't have this skill by making sure that to develop them early. In any company, communication is essential. Your written and vocal communication skills are important in forming professional relationships in the workplace, and they set the tone for how people see you. In circumstances such as project briefing, presentation, and meeting, the ability to communicate oneself clearly is critical. To improve your communication ability, become involved in a project with family or friends, such as planning a reunion. Working successfully with others to achieve a common goal is what teamwork entails. Employer look for the team player that can create smooth work connection while contributing to the group success when hiring new employees. Teamwork not only accomplish the task at hand, but it also foster friendship. Teamwork can be practiced by gathering the gang and planning the vacation as a group. With duties divided, prepare to assist those who require assistance while ensuring that you are doing your part. Recruiter and interviewers are drawn to people who have a pleasant attitude, a well-balanced individual who can stay centered and focus on action, point, and solution is a valuable asset to any organization. Develop a positive mindset by becoming more self-aware in difficult everyday situations like traffic jam. Instead of give up to stress, seek out other options. So next is consider yourself as an entrepreneur. This is so important. Many firms nowadays value innovation. Does fresh graduate with an entrepreneurial background or the ability to think like one value. You don't need to own a business to demonstrate your ability to think beyond the box. An entrepreneur is a problem solver with the ability to handle several responsibilities at once. You can post about something that attract you on social media while also giving your ideas on how to turn it into a company. Consider writing and polishing your stuff as form of exercise. These are valuable ability that can aid you during a job interview because your mind is prepared to discuss and communicate your ideas and discipline manners. Employers are trying to hire employees who can help their business expand from the pool of job seekers. So the next is do your homework on the job you want. When looking for a new career, learn about the work-specific characteristic and expectation as well as the industry. This will give you a more realistic assessment and help you control your expectation, and your other skill set could be quite beneficial. Marketing profession, for example, require more than just your creative and social abilities. Because your data analysis and interpretation are so important in the sector, your math skill is valuable. Look for detail on job criteria to the target employment online, either through a straight description or a similar job. Knowing the company minimal and prefer requirement allows you to see right way if your qualification match the position they are trying to fill. You can acquire a sense of income level by tapping into your network of family and friends that work in the same or similar industry. Starting pay in various sectors differ from job to job, and online research can also offer findings that are sufficient to give you an idea of the pay scale range. You will have a better understanding of the job you are seeking for it. You arm yourself with research expertise. So lastly is, when looking for work, be wise and circle out the position you are interested in. When looking for a new job, one of the most effective tactics to circle out, take a methodological approach to your job hunt. Starting with yourself and your immediate connection, then widening your quest outward is what this entails. Consider who you know and what the opportunities might be available, and ask your family and close friend for recommendation to companies where you are might to like to work. Keep an eye on your social media accounts such as Facebook and Twitter, and make sure they are polished and up to date. Keep in mind that in addition to looking for the job chance for companies with a social media presence, some of them active recruit online. Attend career fair and job expos to learn about different opportunity and get a sense for the industry you want to work in. next I will talk about employment and training of engineer. So what is engineer? An engineer is a person who design, build or maintain engine, machine or structure. Often engineer will study new project to be carried out. Engineer will also solve problem that occur in a project. Engineer will design, drawing a plan for the project to be carried out. Most often engineer don't do hands-on work, but they are just design only. In some factories, the engineer job is to be the person in charge for only new project. They need to study new project and request contractor to carry out the project while being monitored by engineer. So, engineer come in a variety of shape and size, and they work for a wide range of companies. Engineer can help lessen our reliance on fossil fuel, provide clean water and sanitation to people of all over the world, build amazing structure, or simply make your favorite form of transportation run quicker. Engineers have been involved in the design and production of almost everything man-made, as well as in its maintenance and development. They are necessary for the modern world to function. Engineer can work in a variety of sectors. Engineer form a variety of discipline need in almost every industry because of the diverse knowledge and skill they contribute. You will need a good business sense to function as an engineer. The majority of engineer work in the private sector where profit is the primary goal. As an engineer, you may be able to assist your employer in making a profit by developing a product that customer will pay for, or by identifying a more cost-effective method of doing so. Even if you work in public sector, such as Ministry of Defence, you will need to aware of financial issue to guarantee that the taxpayer money backing your project is used wisely. You can enter the sector at any level, and you will often have the opportunity to continue your education once you are there. In general, the higher up you go, the more opportunities you will have to take on managerial tasks and be involved in coming up with new ideas. So next, I will go and I will talk about education requirement. So engineer must have at least a bachelor degree in engineer or a related field. Biomedical engineer, computer engineer, and mechanical engineer are example of such field. In some field, a master degree may be required for progression. Engineer in Malaysia are known by the title IR, which is engineer, derived from the Latin word for to devise and cleverness. To work as an IR engineer, you must first complete the necessary training. The Malaysian Board of Engineer and the Engineering Accreditation Council have approved about 40 programs, including those Curtin University of Technology, Multimedia University, and Segi University. The council, which was found in 2000, has experienced industry professionals evaluate programs to ensure they follow established requirements. Other qualified university degree are acceptable for IR registration. Electrical engineer must complete requirement of one of three scenarios for credit taken in electrical field and circuit, power electronic, machine and drive, and power system. After you have earned your degree, you can apply to become a graduate engineer. The registration fee in 2014 was 50 ringgit Malaysia ringgit. Copies of your national identification card, degree and transcript are required. Personal information such as your address and phone number, academic information such as where and when you attend school, electronic copy of your supporting document, and a declaration that you are not supplying incorrect information are all required on the online application. Within 4 weeks of complete the online application, you must print it and mail it to the board along with certificate copies of your document. So you can apply to become professional engineer and acquire your IR title after 3 years as graduate engineer. The application fee was 350 ringgit Malaysian. Whether you have developed bridge, road or building, done engineering research or tough class, you will need a recommendation or on letterhead validating your experience. In addition, you will need the majority of the supporting document you need to become a graduate engineer, as well as cash of your professional work. Prior to applying, you must have lived in Malaysia for at least 6 months. You must pass in the Malaysian Board of Engineer professional assessment examination before obtaining IR status. The test cost is 200 ringgit in Malaysia, and you will be interviewed to establish your level knowledge and communication skill. You will compose an essay on one of several subjects, one of which must be about professional ethics. Each essay can take up to 90 minutes to complete, and if you don't succeed, you have 21 days to appeal the decision. And you must complete roughly 40 hours of training every year to keep your IR status. Every 3 years, you will be evaluated to see if you keep up with your continuing education, which is essential to keep up with new technology and industry change. So next, I will talk about job skills. Engineer talents largely depend on their profession, but in general, they develop, test or create materials, equipment or system. Civil engineers supervise the design and building of bridge, airport and roadways, while electrical engineer create and test electrical equipment. Mechanical engineer develop, test and manufacture mechanical device, while chemical engineer create equipment or process connected to production of food, chemical and other item. So what are the job skill and talent that an engineer must have? The sort of social abilities will differ lesser from one engineering industry to the next. These soft skills may not appear to be as crucial as hard talent at first glance, but most interviewers will pick up on the interpersonal issue throughout the interview to the interview. And furthermore, if skilled engineer lack the soft quality outline that I will talk about it, they may find it difficult to advance in their career. So the first one is skill in the workplace. Engineer work in a number of industry. Some hard talent are only relevant to certain business. Having said that, each of the hard skills such as computer science, programming language, statistic, system design, analysis, advanced analysis, nanotechnology and communication is essential in most engineering job. Engineering is a highly technical field that relies on clear and precise communication between co-workers. However, you will have to communicate with those who do not have a technical background, such as client, and in a rare case, the general public. It's critical that you can communicate your specific expertise in terms that both inside and outside your department can comprehend. Communication is frequently one of the most difficult soft skill for engineer due to the strong technical demand and for your peers and boss. Complex issue must be simplified down into simple language and concept. So the skill that an engineer negotiation, ability to clarify and paraphrase, and stress tolerance. So next, engineer must know about project management. So engineer frequent lead team and collaborate with other department while attempting to achieve deadline while staying within budget. Many engineers go on to become CEOs and tough leader as a result of the administrative demand they confront. Some engineers, like other professionals who require project management abilities, seek project management certification. Some firms will provide their engineers with the opportunity to obtain project management certification. If you already have a bachelor degree and want to work as an engineer, you may typically find low-cost graduate program that can prepare you take and pass the PMI test. Six Sigma training is another sort of project management training that engineers are familiar with. Project manager education in Six Sigma get career badge designation that indicate their level of competence and achievement based on the Japanese model of just-in-time manufacturing with strategic planning, risk management, leadership, communication and organisation, scheduling, quality control and critical thinking. Next is teamwork. So engineer must be able to work in group, and engineer almost never work alone. To bring your project to reality, you will collaborate with a wide spectrum of personnel, including fellow engineer and individual outside your field. This is where departmental integration and collaboration come into play. You must be able to collaborate with a variety of people at all levels, using ability ranging from verbal communication to proper body language, to goal setting and problem prioritization. You must have the character and integrity to inspire others to trust and rely on you while you collaborate. Next is about creativity. Engineering is basically about problem solving and multitasking, which necessary coming up with a new method to apply all knowledge. A really creative process. Engineer may appeal to you because of its creative aspect. If you don't consider yourself a creative person, and unless brainstorming, daydreaming and play can help you think beyond the box. So engineer must be able to do computer modeling. The creation and maintenance of computer model that becomes simulation of complicated system is known as computer modeling. While modeling is not specific to engineering, it has become an important component in a variety of industries where engineering is required. So this model are used to forecast how quickly a planned stadium will be evacuated in the event of an emergency. How a power plant will act if the crucial component fails and other things. Although not all engineers require programming skill to create model, you will need to grasp with how models function in order to know what type of problem may be simulated and what the simulation in this indicate for your project. So next, engineers should also be able to practice higher mathematical. The day of doing math by hand and with slide rules are long gone, yet computers do not eliminate the need to understand math. Engineers must first figure out how to solve numeric issues on their own before telling a computer what to do. Because computer can only obey instruction, you must understand complex mathematical analysis, calculus and other mathematics for design and troubleshooting. In addition, an engineer needs detail and sensitive to the project of being managed. Engineering projects are extremely difficult to complete. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people are involved. A minor failure throughout the planning, development or building process might lead to failure. A bad project not only wastes money, but it also has the potential to harm or even kill people. So detail and sensitivity is very important in engineer. So I will talk about salary. Based on my research on the afterschool.com .my website, written on 11 June 2021, I have gotten quite a bit of information about how much is the salary of an engineer in Malaysia. Choosing a job can be a difficult undertaking since there are numerous aspects to consider. One factor is demand, with many people conducting extensive research and consulting crystal ball to locate firms who are actively hiring. Another key consideration is money, with fresh graduates hoping to make a decent wage given Malaysia's rising cost of living. Today we will look at the salary of one of the Malaysia's most popular field, which is engineering. So, for first of all, I will discuss about fresh graduate who do not have or have 3 years experience. Salary, a short peek at the job posting page will reveal that entry-level engineering employment are available. However, these various occupations pay differently, with some engineering industry paying far more than others. The first one is chemical engineer, which is around 1,700 until 2,600 ringgit. For electrical and electronic engineer, the salary is around 2,500 ringgit until 3,500 ringgit. And mechanical engineer salary is around 1,900 ringgit until 2,900 ringgit Malaysia. For civil engineer, the salary is around 1,900 ringgit until 3,200 ringgit Malaysia. For data engineer or information technology engineer, the salary is around 2,000 ringgit until 3,200 ringgit. For oil and gas engineer, salary is around 2,300 ringgit until 3,300 ringgit. And last, product engineer, salary is 2,300 ringgit until 3,100 ringgit. So next I will discuss about engineering, senior engineer, where it has 4 until 7 years experience salary, and of course it is higher than the salary of fresh graduate. Salary for senior level position are relatively better. Senior level position are critical for establish your place in a specific industry. Employers will look at not only the amount of year you have on your CV, but also the specific field you work in and the product you deal with during that time. So for chemical engineer, senior engineer salary is around 4,100 ringgit until 6,200 ringgit. For electrical and electronic engineer, the salary is around 4,100 ringgit until 6,100 ringgit. For mechanical engineer is around 3,400 ringgit until 5,200 ringgit. For civil engineer is around 3,600 ringgit until 5,600 ringgit. And for data engineer or information technology engineer is around 4,200 ringgit until 6,200 ringgit. Oil and gas engineer salary is around 3,900 ringgit until 5,400 ringgit. And for product engineer is around 3,200 ringgit until 5,000 ringgit. Next, I will discuss about manager, where it has 6 until 10 years of experience salary. Engineer may be promoted to manager over time, doing less hands-on work and focusing more on team management, establishing long-term objective and ensuring that their technical abilities do not rust away. So for chemical engineer, salary is 7,500 ringgit until 9,700 ringgit. And for electrical and electronic engineer, it's around 7,000 until 10,000 ringgit. And for mechanical engineer, is 6,000 ringgit until 7,900 ringgit. For civil engineer, salary is around 6,500 ringgit until 10,000 ringgit. And data engineer or information technology engineer, around 7,000 until 11,000 ringgit. And oil and gas engineer is around 8,500 ringgit until 13,000 ringgit. And last but not least, product engineer, around 6,500 ringgit until 9,800 ringgit. So last, I will talk about senior manager, where it has 13 to 15 years or more of experience, highly skilled professional who have mastered their industry. Depending on the firm, further job growth could include becoming a regional manager or director. So the first one is chemical engineer. Salary for senior manager is around 11,000 until 20,000 ringgit. For electrical and electronic engineer is around 10,100 until 14,400 ringgit. For mechanical engineer, salary is around 8,000 until 1,200 ringgit. For civil engineer is around 10,900 ringgit until 17,300 ringgit. For data engineer or information technology engineer, for senior manager salary is from 13,200 ringgit until 23,000 ringgit. And lastly, oil and gas engineer, salary for senior manager is 12,500 ringgit until 30,000 ringgit. So keep in mind that the figures above are average that might vary depending on a variety of factors such as geography, job market condition or saturation, and company type. So the figure on the other hand provide prospective engineer an idea of what to expect in the future. So what are your thoughts? Which branch of engineering attract you the most? So I will talk about training of engineer. Many of the contemporary device, transportation, and even medicine that we utilize in our everyday life are the result of the work of engineer. They use complicated theories and ideas to develop new product that solve issue and make our life easier. Because engineering touch so many aspects of people life, we want to ensure that those who work in the field are knowledgeable and skilled. This means that before someone can work as an engineer, they must meet a high degree of training and education. Many engineers study for years to obtain an undergraduate degree, fundamental of engineering, exam licensing, a master degree of professional engineering license, and possible additional professional certification or license. But throughout, education is necessary to ensure that the solution proposed by engineer is based on accurate knowledge and logical thinking. This means that depending on the degree they pursue, engineering students may spend 4 to 6 years in school. Now let's talk about training of engineer. Training session and professional development program are aimed at increasing employer performance value in terms of more efficient performance by providing compliance with planned performance and actual performance demonstrated by employees, so closing the gap between them. Through one of the most significant variable, employee motivation for improved performance, standardization, and professional development program can boost the overall productivity of the firm. For example, industrial training in the final year for student is one of the great subject because it really helps students to gain experience and they also can learn about how the real working environment. They also can train themselves to be more comfortable socializing with colleagues, such as joking and exchanging experience as well as advising on such experience as well as advice on advising. So it will make the environment more calm and enjoyable. It gives student an exact idea of what they will doing after their graduation, and some of the training given is not tough during their years in college and very useful to them later. Next, thousands of engineers graduate are at a crossroad every year, attempting to finding the perfect career. According to a Business Wire report, 51% of students are unsure about picking a job path after graduation, owing to a lack of exposure in depth information and experience. This has resulted in the emergence of online certification programs, which are typically subject specific and allow students to master new skills in order to advance in their employment. Engineering graduates are advised to learn about 6 things that I will mention later to make it easier for them to get a job. So the first one is AI and machine learning. AI and machine learning are continuing to change the landscape of developing technologies, and they will be continue to be a technological innovator in the near future. Artificial intelligence specialist is a number one developing position on LinkedIn with 74% annual growth rate over the last 4 years. Here are the several free AI and machine learning courses for engineering students. This AI basic course will give you an overview of AI principle and operation, as well as the fundamental of machine learning and deep learning. The course cover the following topic is AI purpose, deep learning and machine learning, methodology, supervised and semi-supervised learning, and unsupervised learning. Next, the machine learning fundamental course is meant to provide you with a solid foundation in machine learning and get you industry ready quickly. This course cover time series modeling, linear and logistic regression, boosting and bagging approaches, and deep learning basic. So the second one is cyber security. Organizations have become more vulnerable to unwanted cyber attack as the global economy become more dependent on the connection and internet-based solution. There is a strong need for cybersecurity specialists, yet there is a serious lack of appropriately training people who can fill this function. So this course will acquaint you with the current cybersecurity landscape, as well as provide you with knowledge of key tools for assessing and managing security procedure in information processing system. The course key address in this course include cybersecurity principle, threat attack, security architecture, and security policies and procedure. So next is project. Number 3 is project management. Project management is business in organizing, controlling, and managing their resource so that they can produce result on schedule. Due to intense competition among many firms, this role is in high demand. Management, risk management, stakeholder management, and agile project management. So number 4 is data science and business analytics. Data science and business analytics assist firm in making better business decisions and provide valuable insight into whether a company is on the right track. It also aids companies in analyzing client pattern and satisfaction, resulting in improved product and service. This beginner data analytics course will give you a good basis for working with various forms of data visualization for decision making, and data analytics in many industries. Type of data analytics, data visualization, data science and technique, data analytics adoption framework, and trend in data analytics are essential skills covered in this course. Next is business analytics. With Excel course is aim to improve your knowledge on Microsoft Excel. It also contain an intro to Power BI, which is a Microsoft Analytics product course to get you to start with business analytics. The primary skill taught in this course include Excel analytic function, pivot tablets and slicer, scenario management tool, ANOVA, and hypothesis testing. So number 5 is digital marketing. Organization is serve need to knowledgeable marketer that understand social media, analytic, advertisement, and sales funnel to stay ahead of their competitor as digital marketer take over the world. One of the top 10 most in demand career on LinkedIn is digital marketing specialist, with SEO being one of the most wanted abilities. There are two type course in engineering marketing, which is digital marketing 101 and digital and social selling. So digital marketing 101 course will provide you a competitive edge by assisting you in mastering digital marketing foundation in order to improve user engagement method. The core skill addressed in this course are digital marketing, customer lifecycle management, marketing analytics, mobile marketing, and IoT marketing. With the support of CRM technologies, sales intelligence, and social engagement tools, the digital and social selling course in build on established social selling tactics. You will discover how to produce better leads, convert them more quickly, and increase revenue for your company. So the major skill cover in this course including digital selling, personal brand creation, buyer engagement, multi-channel campaign management, and customer acquisition. So lastly is DevOps, developer operation. By removing conflict between development and operation system and teams, DevOps has transformed software and deployment. Organization value open source DevOps capabilities, which is 60% more than developer, according to a research by the Linux Foundation, which is 59%. There are two type course in DevOps, which is DevOps certification training and introduction to Git. This DevOps function program will provide you a realistic graphs of DevOps in the real world. You will also learn about Git, Docker, Jenkins, Cucumber, Ansible, TeamCity, and Nagios, which are all standard DevOps tools. This course cover DevOps approach, version control system, continuous integration and deployment technologies, configuration management tools, and deploying Kubernetes clusters. Next is Git. This Git basis course will teach you how to learn Git, three-stage process, and how to set up Git on your computer. You will also learn how to construct, branch, and track file, as well as how to construct a repository in Git and GitHub. The major skill taught in this course are Git basic, Git workflow, Git branching, and Git teamwork. Getting recognized from a reputable organization might provide you a massive edge all across the hiring process as an engineering graduate in the job market. It not only demonstrate that you or what you are doing, but it also demonstrate that you have the necessary talent for the position.
While originally focused on streamlining manufacturing processes, the field of industrial engineering now improves processes and systems in virtually all industries to make them more efficient, yielding less waste and costing less. To maximize efficiency, industrial engineers balance many factors such as the number and type of workers involved in a process, available equipment, safety, environmental impact, and cost. They might design faster production methods, choose new materials to make longer-lasting products, or devise ways to move customers through a line faster at an amusement park. Some engineers focus entirely on automated manufacturing and work with robots and computer networks. Industrial engineers often rely on teams to identify problems and solutions in their work. They generally work in offices or travel to the settings they are analyzing to identify improvements. For example, they may watch workers assemble parts in a factory, then return to an office to analyze the data they have collected. Most industrial engineers work full-time, but hours may vary depending on the needs of specific projects. Industrial engineers need a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering or related engineering field. Employers value practical experience in the field, which many programs offer as part of a degree program.
That's all from me. Thank you.